How's it going, everybody? This is Aaron Arias Taylor, analyst of the Gamecock Esports League of Legends team, and I'm here bringing you a gold one top lane and a VOD review. We're gonna be watching some Aatrox top. This is Redloff, this is the top laner for the USC team. Um, we're not gonna review the entire game, but we're gonna sit here and talk about some things that he does in the early game and how you can apply them to your own game and improve yourself as a player. So let's get right into it. Alright, so starting here right at the beginning, we're just going to go ahead and skip this. Going to go ahead and fast forward through this and get to the laning phase. So we're going to go ahead and assume 5 point line of scrimmage, doesn't matter really what you call it. We're just going to make sure that all the general entrances are warded. Unfortunately, bot lane isn't really covering the entrances. Maybe if the enemy team had something that could be invaded with, then it would matter more, but they have a Sona, they have a Master Yi, they're probably not going to look for the invade. Either way, the top laner should stand somewhere in the top river. This is an alright spot to be in. Um, really not much to say here. So now that it's 1:30, we're going to walk up to the top lane. First off, we really want to switch over to the blue camera side so that way we can see explicitly just the things on our side, only the things that matter to us. All right, so first things first, he's going to attack the wave. He's going to assume wave control with that. This means that if Redloff wants to keep pushing the wave, he can. He's going to have the minion advantage as long as he continues to match autos here. With this, Jax is just going to try and get a trade. Redlock can walk away. That's fine. So now, about an even wave. Going to miss a minion here. So right now, he's going to keep pushing the wave. This would be a bigger issue if there was a ganking jungler, but Yi wants to farm to 6. So uh, in this matchup, Aatrox is the superior laner. Jax is a late game split pusher, and um, Aatrox is early to mid game team fight threat, skirmish threat. Kind of a little bit different now that he doesn't have an automatic guardian angel on his ultimate, and he's got some healing. So in the strict 5v5 sense, he might not be as strong as he was before, but he's probably still stronger than Jax in the mid game in that regards. Um, so anyway, because we know that there's a lower pressure jungler, um, you're less likely to get ganked early. But either way, the jungler did start bot side. We know that because the bot lane walked into lane late and the top laner was here early. So the Yi is going to clear likely from bot side to the top side, meaning that Redloff is going to want to look out for that gank around 3 minutes, something like that, after Yi is done clearing. Right now, he's just going to keep looking for positive trades. This is good. Baits out the E, and just want to keep getting these autos on the minions. So he knows that the counter strike is down here, right? So Jax's tool against Aatrox, or his biggest tool, is the counter strike because it allows Aatrox to, or it keeps Jax from, it allows Jax to dodge Aatrox's autos. Oh my god, that was impossible to say. So because of that, if Redloff were to engage, then the only thing he could land is his abilities, and after his abilities, then Jax could just turn on his counter strike and then walk up and then continue to extend the trade. But since both of their abilities are down, and Aatrox is stronger early, he has more AD, 85 to 76. That means they're going to trade like 10 positive over the Jax here. What Redloff wants to be doing here is walking forward and zoning here because right now Jax has no counter strike. So Jax's primary trading tool is down at the moment, and right now Redloff isn't capitalizing on it as hard as he could be. Instead, he's too focused on this minion. So now Jax jumps in. He's got absolutely no other abilities, so his counter strike is still on cooldown. And when Jax jumps in with a single target ability, this triggers minion aggro. So now he's taking damage from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minions, one of them being a cannon. This is a lot of damage onto the Jax, so what Redloff should look to do is to extend that trade, fight that out. He can get maybe like one more auto off here because as long as he doesn't cross this midpoint, he's not going to start taking a lot of aggro. Probably could have gotten one more auto off, probably could have squeezed one more out, but he did get one, and that's fine. So now he's looking for this trade. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that over the cannon, but he is going to land these abilities, so this is fine. So right now, Jax has no counter strike. Redloff lands that auto attack and forces Jax to jump out. This is good. That's probably the best trade so far. Fortunately, this means because he auto attacked, or not auto attacked, the Aatrox used his AoE abilities on the wave. That this wave is now pushing into the red tower, and that means that Redloff might be more susceptible to ganking, but as we said earlier, not Olaf, jeez, Master Yi is a lower pressure jungle in the early game, so he's very unlikely to get ganked. And Kha'Zix is up here as well, matching that pressure, so they would likely win the skirmish. So he's going to get to crash this wave. And right now, this fight is happening. There's no scuttle. There's really nothing to fight over. So now these people are just going to walk back to their lane. Um, Nothing wrong with the move that he did here. He pushes the wave into turret. He doesn't lose any minions. This is good pressure. Um, if you manage to shove in a wave like this, then you can look to create pressure around your lane. You can get a ward here. You can go fight over a neutral objective. You can collapse on, the jungler or whatever. But unfortunately, just because of timing, nobody was there in time, and they're not going to be able to get anything out. So Redloff just goes back to his lane, and now he's just going to look for farm and then keep looking for positive trades. All he's got to do is keep landing his abilities and then avoiding that Jack's counter strike. Make sure he doesn't get stunned. Make sure he doesn't take too much minion aggro, things like that. So right now, enemy wave is bigger, right? So that means this wave is coming in this direction. With a minion wave discrepancy of this size, you can try and look to start pruning minions to try and maybe freeze it around here. And we'll keep talking about why freezes are important later into the video. But for right now, Aatrox is still looking for these trades, so he's gonna thin this wave out a little bit, keep last hitting, keep getting that gold, and keep getting these ability procs onto the Jax while Jax is failing to trade back. And this is good. This is what you want in the early laning phase. Unfortunately, he's missed a couple of minions, so he doesn't have the widest CS advantage that he could. Okay, so this right here. So he got Aatrox lands all of his abilities. This Jax jumps in with counter strike, and he's gonna get this stun, and that's fine. So he gets pulled in. Now he's got to flash away because he hard lost this trade. Master Yi's coming in for this gank. Nothing really he could do. This is good because now we're set up for a freeze. The Jax just used his TP, or not just used his TP, he used his flash. So what's going to end up having to happen here is he would have to TP back to this lane to try and break the freeze. But Master Yi could be here. He could have tried to shove this out. I think maybe he still loses that 1v1 the wave. I don't know. If I were Master Yi, I would try and shove this out. I think that would be the best move here. So that way Jax doesn't have to use his TP. There's a 2v2 going on in the bot lane, right? So now we see this TP come down. All right, so this is Jax TP. That means he just left this wave entirely unattended. So now this is probably the first big mistake of the lane. And it isn't like on the surface, you might not think it is, but I'll keep explaining. So right now, this wave could be full health, 6 minions, just freezing here. So any minion number above 4, like so if this is, we'll call this a standard wave, just 3 casters, 3 melees, a 6 wave, if you will, right? So this 6 wave is gonna meet with this 5 wave, right? But it could have been a 5 wave with full HP. It's not technically a 5 wave because these minions aren't full HP. So this is something like a 3, which means it's not really freezable anymore. The reason it's not freezable is because after the next wave, these reinforcements are going to get to this side of the lane faster than, here, let me turn on this, these reinforcements. Because minions will travel the same speed on both sides, in a vacuum, minions will always meet in the middle, right? But because the minion wave is stalled on this side, the blue wave is going to get to the midpoint of the minions faster than the enemy wave will, right? So that means that there are going to be like 10 minions on this side, and they're all going to be auto-attacking more, and that's going to push it out this way. Still, though, you should be looking for a freeze, because right now Jax is bot lane. He's shoving this wave in, he's going to get this one wave, and that's all Jax got off of the TP. Jax didn't get any kills, you got one minion wave, right? But if you freeze this wave, you deny this minion wave, your own minion wave, and this Jax can't farm that. But what ends up happening is if you try and push this out, you try and push this minion wave, all of these minions are alive now. And you're just gift wrapping extra minions to the Jax right now. So right now, instead of you just farming all these minions as they kill your own wave, what you're trying to do is shove this and you're losing wave control. Because at any point that you have a freeze, you can just recall, and those minions will continue to trade on equilibrium. And what that means is that it will maintain position while minions on both sides are dying. But right now, the Aatrox tried to push the wave back in. So this is going to hit the cannon wave, and cannon is going to take 7 turret shots, and that means that Jax is going to be here in time to soak up this entire wave. So instead of Jax losing all of these minions and being at a 20 minion deficit, um, he's going to come back to this lane. He's going to soak up probably 6 of these, and it's definitely less of an issue. So now Jax is here. Also, Master Yi got to take some of these minions, so the EXP wasn't really lost among the entire team. Everyone, like the gold didn't disappear like it would if the minions had just died to other minions. And so now Jax is going to still keep getting EXP. He's going to still keep getting gold. And now he's going to push this way back in, which is fine because once again, we have an even amount of minions, right? Well, this is uneven now, so it's pretty evidently going to keep pushing to the blue side. So right now there's 9 minions on this side, 2 minions on this side. So 9 versus 6. So this wave is going to come this way. And as I said before, if the enemy wave has has more minions, then you can try and look for the freeze. And the reason you especially want to look for the freeze is because Jax has no flash. So if you manage to position the wave right here and he doesn't have flash, then you can call your jungler up, you can set up for a gank. But if you continue to push this wave under turret, then Jax is getting to just free farm. There's no way we can dive him with Aatrox Kha'Zix, and you're just playing into Jax's win condition, which is just scale. So right now, Jax is not even that far behind, despite the fact that he teleported out of lane. He's going to look for this trade. And so he's going to hard lose this trade. Jax has no mana. He can't really do anything after this. He used all of his abilities. He used his ulti too. Okay, so he's got less health now, and he's got this minion wave that's pushing out. So all Redlove has to do is walk away. Okay, so this is the second big thing that I see here. When I look at the abilities, one, I can see the cooldowns. And the second thing I see here is the leveling order. I definitely don't agree with maxing E first. Q is your main damage source. Maxing Q gives you the cooldown. It also gives you more damage. I'm not really sure if there's a matchup that you really want to max E. I don't think that the 2.5% healing per level is anything that you really like. That doesn't seem like it would be priority over damage. And then secondly, we see the cooldowns here. So Redlock just activated his ultimate with no other abilities on the board. So the only thing that Redlock can do is auto attack. Okay, so that's 2 autos. So he just ulted for 2 autos with no other abilities whatsoever. Okay, but still, we're in a good position here. Even though he didn't need to ult, we're still in control of the minion wave. The minion wave, you still got more on the red side, and so that means it's going to push over here. And so what you still want to keep looking for is this freeze. But again, we're pushing it out for some reason. This doesn't accomplish anything because enemy top laner has no flash, he has no TP. There's no way he can come back to this wave and get control of it, so this wave is going to keep coming back to your side. Enemy jungle spot side, there's no way he can break the freeze either. So you just want to, in every game, almost every game, it's better for you to be freezing on your own side of the map than it is for you to be constantly crashing into turret. Unless you're going to crash into turret and continue to hit the turret, there's no reason to just push waves without pressure onto the turret or using the wave pressure to get priority and then roam somewhere else. So right now, the wave isn't even pushed all the way into the turret, so this is still giving Jax time to walk back to lane. Whereas if he had just continued to let this wave pull to his side, the wave would be right here. None of these minions would be alive, right? So this is 10, 12 minions, and we would have a 25, 30 minion lead almost. And we're just going to keep watching. Another thing that I want to note is that if you're going to rush Cleaver on Aatrox, it's what most people do is they go with a Kindle Gem for the CDR and health, and they typically pick up a Caulfield's Warhammer for the Death Dance that is later in the build. And what this does is it gives Aatrox 20% CDR, and that's access to his dash and more damage on his Q because Aatrox is very ability focused. He wants to keep spamming those Qs, and that's a way for him to get out damage. Even though Phage has 15 AD, Kindle Gem is 800 gold and Phage is 1250. So you can also buy a longsword with the Kindle Gem and have 10 AD and 200 health and 10% CDR, which is more valuable, in my opinion, than just getting the Phage outright, especially if you're going to continue to buy CDR. So Aatrox has no choice, Aatrox Jax has no choice but to push this wave into Aatrox, and Aatrox is going to look again to try and freeze this, but um, the red doesn't seem to be looking for this freeze. So even within that, we still have options. Like you can still look for this fight. So right now we don't have ulti. Jax has his. It's about on the same timer, but even still, Jax is still just weaker at this point in the game, and you can continue to trade. He's got no health, and also still less AD. Maybe yeah, similar amount of AD with way less health. So again, still no flash. His jungler's top side. He can maybe get a gank off here. He doesn't need to push the wave. He's gonna get this pink off, and that's gonna allow the Kha'Zix to come over the wall. Kha'Zix isn't gonna look for it because I think Jax probably knows that after this pink ward goes down. But just because the Kha'Zix leaves doesn't mean you want to push this wave again. Like you can continue to deny minions to the Jax. It's going to keep him from getting EXP. It's going to keep him from getting gold, and that's going to extend your lead. So right now, if you had frozen at both the points that I had previously mentioned, Jax would have lost 10 minions per wave. He would be down 38 CS to 77. And that's how much more of a wide lead that you could have accrued in this. And this is just with proper wave management. Like Redloff wouldn't have had to win any more fights than he already did. He would have just had to stop auto attacking minions. So one plate is 160 gold. That's about the same as 10 casters, 10 minions. So we can say that this is like 91 CS to 64, something like that. Shove is fine. So right now he's got no abilities. Jax just used his entire kit, and now you have confirmation that the Yi is bot side. So you can look for this fight right here, even though you're at a minion disadvantage. You're still stronger than the Jax. But right here again, so 4 minions, which means that you can freeze it right here. This is going to force the Jax to come up here. He's going to kill this pink ward, unfortunately, just because we're positioned back here. And it's a small price to pay because you don't really need the pink ward unless you're in danger when you're pushed up. Okay, so again, same thing. You don't need to ult when you don't have any abilities. It doesn't. The ulti gives you lifesteal and attack damage, and the attack damage works on your abilities, and it also increases your self healing on your abilities. So using your ulti when you have nothing that benefits from the stats that your ulti gives you is a waste. Again, you have 4 points in your E. It's only 2.5% heal and 1 second off on the dash, which you haven't needed to dash once in this matchup when you didn't have your dash. So you could have extra damage through and through because of this. Okay, so your abilities are on cooldown, and you're just auto attack trading with Jax. Okay, Jax is going to keep winning. Like Jax's ability is ramping attack. His passive is ramping attack speed, and an on hit every 3 auto attacks. So you need to be like spacing and kiting between. Like you auto here, you walk back here. Then Jax will have to walk cover like he'll have to chase you, but he won't get these free autos in. So by standing still, you're just giving Jax extra autos that you don't want to give him. And because of that, now you just have to flash. So you ulted with no abilities twice. You failed to freeze twice now. And now you're down a summoner when you didn't get anything from his flash being down or him teleporting out of the lane. You're only 7 CS up. I mean, you're gonna get this minion wave. So you're like 10 CS up. Yeah, a 10 CS advantage in a matchup where Jax will scale infinitely harder than you is not a win. You also still don't have any CDR for your abilities, which is a lot of Aatrox's strength, actually. So now he's got the time out, he's got no wave control, and he's just always going to have to keep pushing it into you. Um, a technique that you can use to hold the minion wave is you just walk into the brush and then walk out and just keep drawing aggro while avoiding as much damage as you can. And that keeps the wave in this position without you having to kill yourself on the wave. Um, Jax. Okay, so we see the Master Yi up here on our ward. Gotta ping that out. So now the Kha'Zix is looking for an opportunity bot. That's good. All right, so let's watch that trade again. Okay. All right. So he dashes forward and misses second Q. Jax's cooldown on his Q, pretty similar to your E, but he used it earlier, so you know it's going to be up earlier. So now Aatrox is up here, and he used all of his abilities. Okay, so now he's in the river without a paddle. Jax is just going to jump straight through the E and then win the trade because Aatrox doesn't have any abilities. He couldn't even dash to get out. Okay, so now we're just going to get a recall off. He's got no TP. Okay, so Jax is looking for this push. Jax just going to disappear. I think they're on Reft Herald, probably. Okay, so Jax is mid lane. He is nowhere to be found. Oh, it's not Jax, that's Nico. Oh man, I fell for that bait. And I'm a Nico, man, that's pretty sad. So there's no vision up here. Kha'Zix is basically just revealing his spot top side. Jax is now on this guy. Aatrox is B, so Jax is allowed to free move because Aatrox isn't in the lane. So they get the scuttle, and Jax is just gonna push the wave out. Okay, so at this point, let's review. There were two opportunities for Redloff to freeze, but he did not freeze and didn't really get any meaningful damage on this turret because he kept shoving waves. Or even though he shoved waves, he didn't get any meaningful damage on the turret, and instead failed to accrue a minion or EXP advantage here. Right now, he's tied in levels and tied in EXP, which is not what you want when you win the lane. If you didn't win the lane, then if you were expected to win the lane, if I were playing Renekton and I just went even, then you technically lost the lane. Okay, so he pushed out the wave, gets some vision because of it, comes back, doesn't miss anything. This is a fine macro movement. Let's see, when did you use TP? Is this bugged? Sorry, I just want to get confirmation. Okay, it was right after the flash. Alright, so let's see. That might have been something I could have touched on. TPing for 5 minions isn't super worth. Yeah, you could probably have saved that for a fight that would happen somewhere else on the map. Not that Jax is TP'd anywhere, but if if you aren't winning your lane super hard, then the very least you could do is look to play through somebody else. So this causes Jax to just match, which is fine. I mean, it would be worse for Jax to do that if he were losing the lane. Um, Honestly, there's still probably not even a reason for him to teleport to the lane because you're shoving. So if you're pushing this wave, it's a cannon wave, he can walk here, cannon's going to tank it, and he's going to get all the minions. It's really not much of a reason for him to TP, actually. Right now he could have just gotten TP advantage off of that instead. Alright, so we're gonna skip forward back to where we were before. Like on the surface, it might not look that bad because both laners are 0-0, and because neither player is really feeding, you know, like then like it could be viewed as them both doing their jobs correctly. But if you're the winning lane in the vacuum of the matchup, then you have to win the lane because right now you're going even, and that makes you less of a factor in the game than what you could be. Because you probably could have gotten an EXP lead, used your abilities more correctly, but hey, he's gonna dono that one over. So you get an assist, Kha'Zix gets something with it. But then, okay, so you guys don't do anything. So what is this? You guys get a kill, and then no turret, no Rift Herald, no roam, nothing. Like you just go B? No, that's not the move. You need to do something with that pressure. You need to say, all right, we're getting this turret. We killed the jungler. There's a man advantage. We can get this neutral objective. We can get this turret. We can go get these wards. You guys just went B. That's actually the like, uh, it's just complete waste of pressure. All right, so we're almost concluding with this particular video because I only wanted to review the laning part of this game. Um, the timeline kind of spoils a little bit. We can see that they get Baron and continue to snowball on the map, but um, that's not really the point of this video because honestly, after that point where Jax has basically met his win condition, which is get to his power spike without dying at all, and he's officially scaled. He's post level 11 with his Triforce. There's really nobody who can 1v1 him if he wants to keep pushing down turrets, and after he gets Baron, it's even worse. So now Aatrox literally can't win. There's no way he can 1v1. Um, and so what Aatrox would have to do is look for opportunities through his team, look for a fight at a neutral objective, maybe where Jax is somewhere where Jax isn't. But even still, if Red Loft is fighting over like Dragon on the other side of the map, then Jax can just push top, and he can take every turret because Kha'Zix can't 1v1 him, Ahri can't 1v1 him, Vayne sure as shit definitely can't 1v1 him. Jax would really have to mess up in order for Vayne to pop off on him. So right here, yeah, Kha'Zix is gonna walk up, gets his auto blocked by the counter strike, and then he Qs, and then Master Yi is here. So right now, two people are on the bot side, and we don't have any vision of people on the bot side. So we have to assume that now, because there's nobody on the bot side, that everybody's top side, even though that doesn't really matter. At least the jungler is, right? So now they're gonna die right here. That's jungler death. Oh wow, look at that. Everybody's top side because our Vayne is bot for no reason. She doesn't need to be pushing this turret. Janna doesn't need to be here pushing this turret. Right now, the neutral objective is Baron. That's the only thing up on the map. So you want to have the most people on one side of the map on this. So if you have a teleport, you want to put the teleport on the opposite side of the map as compared to the neutral objective. If there were a dragon here that people are going to fight over, then the teleport would go top lane, right? But now bot lane is out of position, and then you two fail to recognize that they're going to put people top because right now there's no bot turret. Bot lane isn't going to keep pushing this lane because there's nothing for them to get. So now they get top turret, they get over to Baron. This is bug. I don't know why it's doing this. That's pretty much game. Not that it's really game, and not that I'm saying that anybody should ever surrender in this position, but as far as defining where you can find your agency as Aatrox into the Jax matchup, you're supposed to win lane. And here you didn't really do anything to win lane other than Jax making bad trades. Jax walked into you, burned his own flash, and then really failed to capitalize on it by forcing him to walk up to a frozen minion wave. And I think that's really it. That and misleveling and buying some items that you probably shouldn't have rushed, like Kindle Gem into Caulfield's gives you that AD boost and gives you 20% CDR. Probably the most stat efficient rush for the champion. Um, you should max your main damage source. I think most champions should max Q, just because like that's how Riot designs the game. Very rarely do champions max anything besides that. Um, yeah, I think that just about concludes it. I mean, I'm not gonna repeat it a third time or a fifth time or however many times I've said it. I think we can call it there. So even though there are definitely things I like, your ending scoreline is 6-4-5, and you do some things in the mid game. If you want to take control of the game as a winning laner in the winning lane matchup, you have to do these things to win lane. So even though they might give you kills in the mid game after they get Baron or you pick up on team fights, it ultimately matters like really very little compared to the mistakes that you made in the lane. Like even though you walk out with 180 CS and you go 0-0, that's not what you want at all. Going even isn't winning. Yep. So that just about concludes it. If there's anything you guys would like me to cover, if you have VOD reviews of your own that you'd like me to review, maybe something that I could talk about more in depth in these VOD reviews, I could watch some pro matches. I'd be happy to take some suggestions. Just let me know what you want in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.